The massive council chamber floated in deep space, a crystal sphere holding representatives from 50 star systems. Admiral Kron of the Galactic Council stood at the center, his blue scales reflecting the starlight. Around him sat beings of every shape, some with tentacles, others made of living crystal, and many forms humans had never imagined. The humans of Earth have refused our demands, Kron announced, his voice echoing through translators. They will not surrender their technology. They will not accept our rule. They dare to say no to the Galactic Council. Commander Vex, a creature of pure energy, flickered with amusement. Earth, that backward planet? They barely left their solar system 50 years ago. Their ships are primitive. Their weapons are ancient by our standards. Let me remind the Council, said General Tor, his forearms gesturing dismissively. Humans still use chemical rockets. Chemical, while we bend space itself. They fire metal projectiles while we harness antimatter. This will not be a war. It will be an extermination. The council members laughed, a sound like breaking glass mixed with thunder. They had conquered civilizations that spanned hundreds of worlds. Earth had 3 colonies and a handful of space stations. I propose we make an example of them, Kron continued. Show the galaxy what happens when primitives refuse the council's wisdom. Who votes for war? Every tentacle, claw, and energy field rose in agreement. The vote was unanimous. On Earth, President Maria Stone stood in the United Nations War Room, watching the live feed from their spy drone. Around her, generals and scientists studied the Alien Council's meeting. The room was silent except for the hum of computers. They think we're weak, General Adams said quietly, breaking the silence. They see our old technology and assume we're helpless. Dr. James Wilson, Earth's lead physicist, smiled grimly. They judge us by their standards. They've forgotten something important about humans. What's that? President Stone asked. We're very good at war, and we're even better at survival. The president turned to face the room full of Earth's brightest minds and strongest leaders. They want to exterminate us because we said no, because we won't be slaves. They think our chemical rockets and metal bullets make us weak. She paused, looking at each face. They're about to learn why humans survived on a death world, why we thrived despite everything our planet threw at us. General Adams activated the Global Defense Network. Madam President, what are your orders? Send a message to all Earth forces, all colonies, every human in space, Stone commanded. Tell them the Galactic Council just declared war on humanity. Tell them we're not going to surrender. We're not going to run. Her voice hardened. We're going to show them why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Across Earth, the message spread. Factories that made cars started making weapons. Scientists who studied stars began weaponizing physics. Engineers who built bridges started designing war machines. 7 billion humans heard the call, and 7 billion humans answered. In orbit around Mars, Captain Robert Black received the message aboard humanity's flagship, the ESS Defiance. It wasn't pretty like the alien ships. It was an ugly block of armor and guns. But it was built by humans for war. Captain, his first officer Lisa Brown reported, we're receiving signals from all human vessels. The fleet is ready. Black looked at his crew, young men and women who trained for this moment. The aliens think we're primitive. They see our technology and laugh. But they don't understand us. We didn't conquer Earth by being advanced. We conquered it by being stubborn, clever, and absolutely refusing to die. He opened a channel to all human forces. This is Captain Black. The Galactic Council wants to exterminate us. They think we're weak because we're young, because we're primitive. They're about to learn that humans don't need fancy technology to win wars. We just need determination and the will to survive. All ships, prepare for combat. Let's show these aliens why Earth is called a death world, and why humans are its apex predators. The war had begun. The Council expected quick victory. They would get something else entirely. First contact. First blood. The Galactic Council's invasion fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system exactly 7 days after the war declaration. Admiral Kron commanded from his flagship, the Supremacy, a vessel the size of a small moon, bristling with energy weapons that could crack planets. 5,000 ships. Admiral, reported his tactical officer. The humans have 130 vessels defending their system. Kron's scales rippled with satisfaction. 130? Against 5,000? This will be over in minutes. All ships advance. No mercy. But something was wrong. The human ships weren't retreating. They weren't even moving into defensive positions. They were accelerating straight toward the Council fleet. On the ESS Defiance, Captain Black watched the alien armada approach. They're keeping tight formation. Exactly as predicted. Captain, Lisa Brown said, that's a lot of ships. Yes, Black agreed. And that's their first mistake. They're fighting like they always do, with overwhelming force and no creativity. Time to teach them how humans fight. He opened a channel to the human fleet. All ships, execute Operation David. Remember, we're not trying to match their technology. We're going to use their arrogance against them. The human ships suddenly scattered in all directions, moving in seemingly random patterns. The Council fleet, confused by this chaos, tried to track multiple targets at once. Then the first surprise hit, hidden among the asteroid belt. Humanity had spent the week installing thousands of simple weapons, mass drivers that launched asteroids like giant bullets. These rocks, some the size of buildings, suddenly erupted from hiding, accelerating toward the Council fleet at incredible speed. Primitive projectiles. Commander Vex laughed. They throw rocks at us. But the rocks kept coming. Thousands of them from every direction. The Council's energy shields, designed to stop laser weapons, struggled against simple kinetic force. The smaller alien ships started taking damage. Impossible. Kron snarled. Increase shield power. That's when the second surprise activated. Earth's colonies on Mars and the Moon revealed massive railguns, weapons that fired metal slugs at near light speed. These weren't fancy, just magnetism and metal, but physics is physics. The slugs punched through shields and armor alike. Council fleet's formation began to break apart as ships maneuvered to avoid the constant barrage of projectiles. Admiral, his science officer warned, the humans are using our own formation against us. We're so tightly packed that we can't maneuver effectively. Then came the third surprise. Small human ships, barely bigger than fighters, emerged from hiding places throughout the solar system. They'd been sitting silent, powered down, invisible to sensors. Now they swarmed toward the Council fleet like angry wasps. Fighter craft? General Tor laughed from his command ship. Our point defenses will destroy them easily. But the human fighters didn't attack. Instead, they flew straight at the alien ships and detonated. Each fighter was a manned missile, its pilot willing to die to protect Earth. The explosions were small by space battle standards, but they were nuclear. The electromagnetic pulses scrambled alien sensors and communications. For crucial moments, the advanced Council fleet was blind and deaf. In that chaos, the main human fleet struck. They fired everything: nuclear missiles, railgun slugs, even old-fashioned explosive shells. It wasn't pretty or advanced, but it was devastating. The Supremacy's bridge shook as impacts registered across the massive ship. Damage report? Kron demanded. We've lost 300 ships, Admiral. The humans. They're not fighting properly. They're supposed to form battle lines, exchange energy fire. This is chaos. Then we'll show them real power, Kron decided. Charge the planet Cracker. We'll destroy Earth itself. The Supremacy's main weapon began to glow, drawing power from a captive star. It would take 10 minutes to charge, but once fired, Earth would cease to exist. Captain Black saw the energy build up on his sensors. They're going for Earth. All ships execute final option. Captain, Lisa said quietly, final option means ramming speed. I know, Black replied, but that's what humans do. When faced with extinction, we don't surrender. We take the enemy with us. The entire human fleet turned toward the Supremacy, accelerating to maximum speed. They weren't trying to survive anymore. They were making sure the aliens didn't either. Asterisk. The turning tide Admiral Kron watched the human fleet accelerating toward his flagship with disbelief. They're going to ram us? Have they lost their minds? Admiral, his tactical officer reported with concern. At their current speed and mass, if even half of them impact the Supremacy ... We'll lose the planet Cracker, Kron finished. All ships, defensive screen. Destroy those primitive vessels. The Council fleet opened fire with thousands of energy beams, turning space into a lightning storm. Human ships exploded by the dozens, but the survivors kept coming. For every ship destroyed, the others accelerated harder. Then Earth revealed its fourth surprise from the dark side of Earth's moon. A massive structure activated. Humanity had spent the last week converting their particle accelerator research facilities into something else. A giant magnetic cannon that used the moon itself as a barrel. Sir, the Council's science officer shouted. Massive energy signature from Earth's satellite. The lunar cannon fired. It didn't shoot a projectile. It fired a stream of particles accelerated to 99.9% the speed of light. The beam was invisible to the eye, but devastating to matter. It carved through the Council fleet like a sword through paper. The Supremacy's shields flickered and failed as the particle beam struck. Alarms screamed across the bridge. Impossible. Kron roared. They don't have the technology for particle weapons. Dr. Wilson's voice crackled over captured Council communications. You're right, we didn't have the technology. But we had something better, desperation, and a week to prepare. We just turned our science experiments into weapons. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Stone coordinated humanity's last surprise. Are all sites ready? Yes, Madam President, General Adams confirmed. Every nuclear power plant, every research reactor, every atomic weapon we have, all connected to the transmitters. Earth had turned itself into a massive electromagnetic pulse. Bomb. If triggered, it would destroy most of Earth's own technology, sending humanity back to the Stone Age. But it would also create a pulse powerful enough to disable every electronic system from Earth to Mars. If we can't have our world, Stone said grimly. Neither can they. Back in space, Captain Black's ship was one of the last still heading for the Supremacy. Most of the human fleet was gone, but they'd bought time. The planet Cracker was damaged, its charging sequence interrupted. Impact in 30 seconds, Lisa reported. It's been an honor, Captain. The honor's mine, Black replied. Then he opened a final channel. Admiral Kron, this is Captain Black of Earth. You thought we were weak because our technology was simple. But you forgot something important. Humans have been killing each other with simple technology for thousands of years. We're very, very good at it. The Defiance struck the Supremacy at 40,000 kilometers per hour. The impact was titanic, tearing a hole through the alien flagship's hull. The planet Cracker weapon exploded, taking a third of the ship with it. Kron survived, barely, his bridge now open to space, emergency shields flickering. Full retreat. He ordered. All ships withdraw. But as the Council fleet tried to escape, they discovered humanity's final trap. The week of preparation hadn't just been for weapons. Earth's engineers had seeded the outer solar system with mines, simple devices that were nothing more than containers of metal shavings and ball bearings. When detonated, they created clouds of debris traveling at orbital speeds. The retreating Council fleet flew straight into these clouds. At hyperspace entry velocities, even a small screw becomes a deadly projectile. Ships designed to withstand energy weapons were shredded by simple metal fragments. Commander Vex's energy form flickered in rage. They turned space itself into a weapon. General Tor's command ship lost 2 of its 4 engines to debris impacts. This isn't warfare. This is insanity. No, came President Stone's broadcast to the alien fleet. This is humanity. We survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and nuclear weapons. We survived each other. You thought that made us primitive. It made us survivors. And survivors do whatever it takes to win. The Council fleet, reduced from 5,000 ships to less than 800, limped out of the solar system. Behind them, Earth's defenses remained active, ready for round 2, but the real damage wasn't to their ships. It was to their reputation. The mighty Galactic Council, defeated by a species that still used chemical rockets. Asterisk, the Council's reckoning news of the defeat spread across the galaxy faster than light. The mighty Galactic Council, rulers of 50 star systems, had been crushed by a single planet of primitives. Impossible, unthinkable, but undeniable dot in the council chambers. Now filled with rage and fear, Admiral Kron stood before his peers. His scales were scarred from the battle, his pride shattered. How? Demanded the High Chancellor, a being of pure thought who had ruled for 1,000 years. How did primitives destroy our fleet? They didn't fight like primitives, Kron admitted. They fought like cornered animals. No honor, no rules, just survival at any cost. Commander Vex's energy form pulsed with anger. They used our own tactics against us. Our tight formations became targets. Our advanced shields couldn't stop primitive kinetic weapons. Our sensors couldn't detect powered-down ships. They turned their own planet into a weapon. General Tor added, his 4 arms gesturing frantically. They were willing to destroy their own world rather than surrender it. The Council fell silent. In their millions of years of combined history, they'd never encountered a species so willing to sacrifice everything for victory. Must send the full fleet, the High Chancellor decided. 1 million ships. Destroy them before they spread across the galaxy. But a new voice interrupted. That would be unwise. Everyone turned to see Ambassador Rex, representative of the Ancient Ones, the oldest civilization in the galaxy, observers who rarely interfered. Why do you speak now? The High Chancellor asked. Because you're about to make a fatal error, Rex replied, his crystalline form shifting colors. We have observed humanity since they discovered fire. Do you know what their history teaches us? The Council waited in tense silence. Humans have never lost a war of extinction. When threatened with annihilation, they become something else. They stop being individuals and become a single organism with one purpose, survival. The more you threaten them, the more dangerous they become. They're one planet. Kron protested. We are 50 systems. Yes, Rex agreed. And in 1 week, they turned their planet into a fortress that destroyed your fleet. What do you think they'll do with a month? A year? Do you really want to find out what weapons humanity can create when facing extinction? Meanwhile, on Earth, the victory celebration was brief. President Stone called an emergency meeting of all world leaders, scientists, and military commanders. We won a battle, not the war, she announced. They'll be back with more ships. Dr. Wilson stood up. Then we need to be ready. I propose Project Exodus. Exodus? General Adams asked. We can't defend Earth forever, Wilson explained. But we can make sure humanity survives. Siege ships sent to every corner of the galaxy. Hidden colonies. If Earth falls, humanity continues. And Project Prometheus, added Dr. Thompson from the Weapons Division. We've learned from their technology. Their wrecked ships are treasure troves of advanced science. We can reverse engineer their weapons, improve them with human creativity. President Stone nodded. Do it. All of it? But I want something else too. I want to send a message to the Galactic Council. The message was broadcast on all Council frequencies the next day. It showed Earth, scarred but unbroken. It showed humans rebuilding, working together, preparing. And then President Stone appeared. Galactic Council, she began. You declared war on Earth because we refused to be slaves. You thought our technology made us weak. You were wrong. But we offer you a choice. End this war now. Recognize Earth's sovereignty, and we can coexist. Continue this war, and we promise you this. Humanity will not go quietly. We will not surrender. And if you destroy Earth, you'll find that you've not ended humanity. You've unleashed it. We will spread across the galaxy like a virus, and we will remember who tried to exterminate us. The message ended with footage from the battle. Human ships ramming alien vessels, the lunar cannon firing, pilots sacrificing themselves. The final image was of a human child looking at the stars, with text that read, "We are humanity. We survive. We adapt. We overcome." In the council chambers, the message played to stunned silence. They're threatening us? General Tor asked in disbelief. No, Ambassador Rex corrected. They're warning you. There's a difference. The High Chancellor contemplated for a long moment. Vote. Do we continue the war or accept their terms? For the first time in Council history, the vote was not unanimous. Asterisk. Humanity ascendant the Galactic Council was split. Half wanted immediate annihilation of Earth, while half feared what humanity might become if cornered. The debate raged for days while both sides prepared for what might come next. On Earth, the transformation was remarkable. In just 3 weeks since the first battle, humanity had achieved technological leaps that should have taken centuries. The wreckage of alien ships became Earth's greatest resource. It's incredible, Dr. Wilson reported to President Stone. Their technology isn't more advanced, it's just different. They perfected energy weapons and forgot about kinetics. They mastered shields but ignored armor. Once we understood the principles, improving them was easy. General Adams demonstrated their newest creation. We call them hybrid cannons. They fire projectiles wrapped in energy fields. The energy breaks the shield, the projectile breaks the ship. Best of both worlds. And the ships? Stone asked. 12 new vessels ready, Madam President. Ugly as sin, but they combine human engineering with alien technology. They're faster, stronger, and meaner than anything in space. But the real revolution was happening in secret. Deep underground, Project Exodus was building humanity's insurance policy. Siege ships designed to carry human DNA, technology, and culture to distant galaxies. If Earth fell, humanity would rise elsewhere. In the council chambers, the debate reached its climax when 50 more star systems requested membership specifically to vote on the human question. They'd all heard of humanity's victory and wanted to see how this would end. Admiral Kron, his pride demanding vengeance, made his final argument. If we let humans survive, we show weakness. Every primitive species will think they can defy us. Ambassador Rex countered. If we continue this war and lose, the council ends. Humans don't just fight wars, they win them. Look at their history. They fought themselves for thousands of years, perfecting warfare. We've fought no one stronger than ourselves. Who do you think is more prepared for total war? The High Chancellor called for the final vote. All in favor of continuing the war? 43 systems raised their appendages. all in favor of recognizing Earth's sovereignty? 57 systems voted yes. The war was over. Or so the Council thought. President Stone received the news with mixed feelings. They voted to leave us alone, but only barely. And those 43 systems won't forget this humiliation. Should we accept? General Adams asked. We accept, Stone decided. But we prepare. Because this isn't over. It's just beginning. The peace treaty was signed in Earth orbit. Admiral Kron was forced to come personally, his massive ship dwarfed by Earth's new hybrid vessels. A clear message about how quickly humanity could adapt. You have won your freedom, Kron said through gritted teeth. But you're now part of the galactic community. You must follow galactic law, President Stone smiled. We'll follow laws that are just. But know this, Admiral, humanity will never kneel. Not to you, not to anyone. As Kron's ship departed, he sent a secret message to the 43 systems that had voted for war. The humans are dangerous. We must watch them. Contain them. When the time is right, we strike again. But humans were already listening. They'd cracked the Council's communications during the first battle. Every secret message, every hidden plan. Humanity knew. Dr. Wilson presented the intelligence to President Stone. They're planning something. Maybe not today, maybe not this year, but eventually. Then we keep advancing, Stone replied. We take their technology, improve it, surpass it. We make allies with species who respect strength. We show the galaxy that humanity isn't just another species. We're the next evolution. Over the following months, something unexpected happened. 17 smaller civilizations, inspired by humanity's victory, requested Earth's protection. They'd been bullied by the Council for millennia, forced to pay tribute and provide resources. Now they saw an alternative. Earth accepted them all, forming the Terran Alliance. Human military advisors taught them guerrilla warfare. Human scientists shared the hybrid technology. Human diplomats negotiated better terms with the Council. Within one Earth year, the Terran Alliance controlled 30 systems to the Council's 50. The balance of power had shifted. In the Council chambers. Fear replaced arrogance. The High Chancellor convened an emergency session. The humans are spreading their influence like a disease. General Tor reported. Species that feared us now look to Earth for protection. And their technology advances daily, Commander Vex added. Our spies report they're developing something called a quantum torpedo. It phases through shields as if they don't exist. Ambassador Rex stood. I warned you. Humans don't just survive threats. They evolve because of them. You wanted to exterminate them. Instead, you've made them the dominant power in the galaxy. Admiral Kron slammed his fist on the podium. Then we must act now, before they become too powerful. It's too late, Rex replied, displaying a hologram. It showed Earth's new fleet. 500 ships, each more powerful than the supremacy had been. They built this in 1 year. 1 year. Imagine what they'll have in 5 years. 10 years. The Council fell silent, finally understanding the truth. They hadn't declared war on a primitive species. They'd awakened a sleeping giant. President Stone stood before the United Nations, now expanded to include alien representatives. 1 year ago, the Galactic Council tried to exterminate us. They saw our chemical rockets and metal bullets and thought us weak. Today, we stand as equals. Tomorrow, we'll stand as leaders. The crowd erupted in celebration, but Stone raised her hand for silence. But we must remember, we didn't win through technology alone. We won because we stood together. Human, alien, it doesn't matter. We're all part of something greater now. The Council ruled through fear. We'll lead through strength and unity. She looked directly at the camera, knowing the Council would be watching. To the Galactic Council, we say this: the age of tyrants is ending. The age of humanity has begun. You can join us in building a better galaxy, or you can stand against us. But know this, humanity doesn't start wars, but we finish them. Choose wisely. The transmission ended with Earth's new flag, a blue planet surrounded by stars, with ships of all designs orbiting in protection. Below it, humanity's new motto, "Through adversity, we rise." In his private chambers, Admiral Kron stared at the flag with a mixture of rage and fear. The primitive humans hadn't just survived, they'd thrived. They'd turned certain defeat into absolute victory. His communication device activated. It was the High Chancellor. "Admiral, the Council has reached a decision. We request a formal alliance with Earth." Kron's scales turned pale. "Alliance? With humans?" "Yes," the Chancellor replied. "Because if we can't defeat them, we must join them. Before they decide they don't need us at all." Earth received the alliance proposal the next day. President Stone read it to her advisors with amusement. "They want to be allies now?" General Adams laughed. "After trying to exterminate us?" "It's fear," Dr. Wilson observed. "They're terrified of what we might become." Stone stood, looking out at the stars. "Good. Let them fear us. Accept the alliance, but on our terms. The Council learns to treat all species as equals, or the alliance ends. And if they refuse?" Adams asked. Stone smiled. "They won't. They can't afford to. Because they've finally learned what humanity has known all along. We're not just another species, trying to survive in the universe. We're the species that refuses to let anything stop us. Not nature, not technology, not even the Galactic Council." The message was sent. The Council accepted Earth's terms within the hour. Humanity had not just survived. They had conquered through determination, innovation, and the absolute refusal to accept defeat. The galaxy would never be the same. EPILOGU 5 years after the war, Admiral Kron stood in the Terran embassy on what was once the Council's capital world. The Council still existed, but as partners with Earth, not rulers. The galaxy had prospered under the new order. Trade flourished, technology advanced, and no species lived in fear. He found himself face to face with Captain Black, who had somehow survived the ramming of the Supremacy, rescued by a last-minute teleportation from recovered alien technology. "I still don't understand," Kron admitted. "How did you defeat us?" "Really?" Black smiled. "You want to know our secret? It's simple. You fight to conquer. We fight to survive. You can defeat conquerors. You can't defeat survivors. But your technology was primitive." "Technology doesn't win wars," Black replied. "Will does. Determination does. The absolute refusal to give up does. You had better weapons. We had better reasons to fight." Kron considered this. "And now? What does humanity fight for now?" Black looked out at the stars. "Now? We fight for everyone who can't fight for themselves. We fight to make sure no species ever faces extinction again. We fight for a galaxy where strength protects instead of oppresses." "You've changed everything," Kron said quietly. "No," Black corrected. "We just showed the galaxy what was always possible when someone stands up and says no more. Humanity didn't conquer the Council. We freed the galaxy from it, including you." As Kron left, he realized the truth. Humanity hadn't won through superior firepower or technology. They'd won by being willing to do what no other species would, risk everything for freedom. And in doing so, they'd inspired a galaxy to follow them. Asterisk. Earth, the little primitive planet that threw rocks at starships, had become the heart of a new galactic civilization. Not through conquest, but through courage. The Council had declared war on Earth. Humanity's response hadn't just crushed them, it had transformed them. And in the end, everyone won. except for those who'd stood against humanity. They learned the hard way. You can defeat an army, you can destroy a fleet, you can occupy a planet, but you can't defeat the human spirit, and that made all the difference. The End, **.